KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning. Joining us now, Senior Wellness Coordinator from St. Luke's, our great friend Lisa Gonzer of Fit One. Lisa, good to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
You know, a lot of people were talking about Fit One, and, you know, it's a year-long process, and thinking they have missed an opportunity to join Fit One to get in shape. And we've been talking about this and working with St. Luke's for quite some time. Is it still too late to join?
No, actually, it's not. The St. Luke's Fit One Weight Loss Challenge has ongoing registration, actually throughout the year. And the nice thing about it is it still continues to offer the perks that the program offers for individuals that started the program back in October, like yourself.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the perks, because, again, some people miss it. Some people are, hey, now is the time of year where it's top of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, you know, those January resolutions come into play, and lots of people have weight loss on their mind, and that is exactly what the Weight Loss Challenge is designed to do, is offer support and tools to help people make some healthy choices, some lifestyle changes. So for those that registered back in October, they are kind of in a prize pool. They have the opportunity to compete for some cash prizes. But we still want to offer folks the perks of the program, even when they can't participate in the cash prizes. Once that October timeframe's passed, those cash prize opportunities kind of go by the wayside. But the good news is the program still offers the Class Pass to Axiom, which is a $240 value. It's a pass to any Axiom fitness location in the Treasure Valley, and with it you can go in as many times a day or a week that you want and take any of the classes at any of the locations. So that's part of the registration price. So everybody gets a Class Pass. Everybody will receive the health tips that we send out every week. We send out recipes. We offer different classes and programs that people can attend. Some of them are in-person classes, but many of them are via phone or Skype, where they can call in, they can talk to a dietitian. We have health coaches. We have different cooking classes that we're offering. So lots of ways to keep people engaged, informed, and help them moving down that road of creating a healthier lifestyle.
Well, that is so easier said than done. What about, Lisa, as I well know, what does it take to make that first step?
You know, it's pretty easy. You go to the FitOneBoise.org weight loss, or the page. You click on the weight loss challenge, and right there at the top is a register button. Like I said, through January, it's only $50, and it goes through September. So the next step would be getting registered, start receiving the emails. We immediately send out a Jumpstart kit with a 2-week meal plan and a shopping list, so that people, immediately start receiving some tools from us to start eating healthier, creating more active lifestyle. And the goal here isn't to lose, 50 pounds in 5 months. The goal really is slow, sustainable weight loss. So we are asking individuals in the year-round program to lose 7% of their total body weight. So let's say for an individual that weighs 200 pounds, you're not looking at more than 14 pounds within a year, and that's very doable. That's about a little over a pound a month. So it's slow, consistent weight loss that we're trying to encourage and help support in our participants.
And that's sustainable.
Yeah, sustainable. I mean, that's really the key. I think if you talk to anybody that has ever gone on a diet and they have this claim to fame, yeah, I lost 20 pounds in a month, go back to that individual in 5 or 6 months. They are no longer on their diet. More than likely, they have gained all of the weight back, if not more. And I laugh with people. People think about the first 3 letters of the word diet. D-I-E. It's die.
Sure.
So we really don't endorse diets. We endorse healthy choices throughout the year. every day making healthy choices and eating balanced meals, balanced nutrition, getting activity every day. Like you said, it's much easier said than done. But once you start making small, consistent changes over the long run, it has a positive health impact. And some of our folks, they may have very modest weight loss, but what they do see is blood pressure dropping. We have blood sugars dropping. We have individuals going off cholesterol medicine, blood pressure medicine. So all of those are really big wins when you're looking at overall health.
Lisa Gonsor joins us from St. Luke's Fit One. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. We'll be starting our weekly segments with our friends at St. Luke's. We urge people to get involved, to lose weight, and to make a difference. Again, it comes down to, just taking that first step. Lisa, could we just, again, for people right now that are, like me, they think to themselves, well, I can never do this. What would you say to them?
Absolutely, you can. Everybody that I've talked to, I've been running the program for 9 years, and every time I talk to someone, they'll say, yeah, I lost 20 pounds, but then I gained it back, or, I lost all my weight, but then I had a stressful incident. My mom died, or my child got sick, or I was in an accident and I gained it back. So there's always a nugget in there where I've done it before. So what we try to do is get people to build off those successes. Weight loss and lifestyle change is not a straight line. You don't start at one place and go straight up and it's seamless and easy. It's not. Life is sticky. Life is complicated, and lifestyle change is sticky. You may take a couple steps back or forward and then one step back, and that's really part of the process. And being okay with the ups and downs is, again, part of that embracing the journey and understanding it's not a sprint. This is a lifelong marathon. It's just the doing it every day. And once your body becomes acclimated to eating well and being active, going backwards becomes harder for you mentally, physically, emotionally. Your body just instinctively wants to keep pushing forward. So anybody can do it. It's just the one step in front of the other, really. Just in the doing is embracing the doing it, I guess, is what I encourage people to do.
And Lisa, one more time at KIDO Talk Radio, if people want to join Fit One, to take that first step, it's certainly not too late. What can they do?
Visit the Fit One website. So it's fitoneboise.org. Look for the Weight Loss Challenge slider link. Click on that. It'll take you to the registration page. It's $50 through the end of January, and that gets you started on the program. If you have any questions, the email is weightlosschallenge@slhs.org. That's St. Luke's Health System, slhs.org. Weightlosschallenge@slhs.org. Shoot us some questions. We'll get you started.
Well, Lisa, we appreciate it. We always appreciate the great folks at St. Luke's, and we'll be talking to more folks coming up weekly. We thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Have a great day.
All right, that is our friend Lisa Gonsor joining us from Fit One. By the way, our time is 6:14. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Big news coming out of Congress. We've got Senator Jeff Flake comparing the president to Stalin. Jeff Flake of Arizona doing the West very proud. If you missed it, here it is on KIDO Talk Radio.
It is a testament to the condition of our democracy that our own president uses words infamously spoken by Joseph Stalin to describe his enemies.
There we have it, Jeff Flake doing his best John McCain, proudly protecting the press.
Not only has the past year seen an American president borrow despotic language to refer to the free press, but it seems he has now, in turn, inspired dictators and authoritarians with his own language.
Well, there we have it. Very, very interesting. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, the president announces the Fake News Awards. We'll give you that. We'll give you the top 10 as we move along. here on KIDO Talk Radio. I do want to remind you, coming up, the Canyon County Kids Fair, that will be January 27th, and we would love to see you there. We will be at the Lost Kids booth when you just walk in. Stop by and say hello. The Paw Patrol will be there, and coming up next week, your chance to win tickets to see that. And, by the way, if you missed our interview with Boise's Ben, who won Survivor, we've got that complete interview up at KIDO Talk Radio. And we did a video series with him. Do want to thank our friend Melissa and Jacob for helping me put that together, where we asked, a few questions, ranging from a 40-second answer to about 2 minutes, on Ben giving us some of the secrets of Survivor. Like, what happens when the castaways get voted off? Do they get to go home, or do they have something a little better in mind? So if you've ever wondered the real skinny on Survivor, you can check that out, KIDOTalkRadio.com, and our video series with Boise's Ben. What a wonderful young man, certainly reflective of the values here in Idaho, and particularly the Treasure Valley Capitol High grad, Marine, married, kids, I'm just glad it worked out for him. It's great to see the good people winning every now and then. Coming up next, we'll go over the top 10 list. And what do you make of Senator Flake from Arizona comparing Donald Trump to Stalin? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
Trump did set social media on fire with 6 eagerly anticipated words. And the fake news winners are. So shortly after he tweeted a link to the award winners, the GOP.gov website actually crashed, likely due to the high number of people visiting that website all at one time. So the awards featured 11 different winners. And the first person to be named was Paul Krugman of the New York Times for saying that the economy, the markets would never recover from a President Trump election victory. We now know, of course, that is not true. Stocks are surging thanks in part to the president's tax cuts. Now, CNN was named 4 separate times. One of them was for the whole koi fish debacle. Do you guys remember that? Oh, yeah. The president was criticized for appearing to overfeed the koi fish, but it turns out that he was just following the Japanese prime minister's lead. So, he got a lot of criticism for that. Thankfully, no koi fish were harmed in the making of that video. We can all sleep peacefully at night. Brian Ross of ABC, we knew this one was coming, was also listed for this now infamous false report naming Michael Flynn and Russia. Take a listen.
He's prepared to testify that President Trump, as a candidate, Donald Trump, directed him to make contact with the Russians, which contradicts all that Donald Trump has said at this point.
All right, so that, of course, turned out not to be true. Brian Ross did apologize for that. Time Magazine also received an award for after a reporter claimed that President Trump removed a bust of Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. Sarah Huckabee Sanders corrected that by tweeting out a picture that shows that the bust is still there. And last but not least, President Trump saying that the whole Russia collusion story is the greatest hoax of all time. So, any story dealing with the Russia collusion issue made the list as well. So what is social media reaction to this whole thing? Kind of mixed. If you like the president's tweeting and if you think that his treatment of the media is fair, then you probably liked it. If you don't agree with that, then you probably hated it. Robert on Twitter made this point, though. He says, far more interesting than the Oscars and the Golden Globes. And President Trump, by the way, did end off things on a high note yesterday, saying, despite some of the very corrupt and dishonest media coverage, there are many great reporters I respect and lots of good news for the American people to be proud of.
And there we have it from our friends at Fox and Friends. R&R, good morning. You're on with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, R&R.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Speakerphone. My subject matter today is acronyms. But before I go, the genius in Ray is just so apparent. Knowledge, skills, and abilities. KSAs. There you go. That the skill set for Ray and his abilities are phenomenal. He's a true genius. So let me quickly help pay some bills. I was one of the last 20 hours. I called up, and I just totally endorse this hearing opportunity. I was trained classically as an audiologist, and I at a really nice university, but chose to go another way, and now audiology in the last 40 years has just surpassed anything I even had in mind. So the thing with the hearing aids is absolutely authentic. There's a good word, Steve. So it's authentic. And very easy to get to in the whole valley. So here's another acronym that I purport. Let's just do it on the rundown. So there's two options with Steve, okay? He's not a liberal. He's either a sedative strychnine Steve, or another good idea would be sedative strychnine Steve. He's just so caustic and he's just so lame. Or the other one might be we just don't have to ever hear his voice again. So moving right along, my hope is that we can come to a concept of Confucian National News, or commie. There's the word. Commie. How about commie, Steve? Pinko commie, Steve. Lastly, there was a morning, this is where I really wanted to get to. There was a morning that you had the debate team, the instructor, the educator of the entire state of Idaho that morning. And I, quote, didn't have a really good connection. And to be able to follow a man with that skill set and what he does. So we'll finalize with my concept. I would think it would just be phenomenal if the debate team could corral all the opportunists, and I mean opportunists, that think they're going to run for the governor of Idaho, and let the debate team ask the questions and put the concept together and ask each one of those individuals that when they're in their 7th, 8th, 9th graders would not be politically minded. They wouldn't be motivated. They want Idaho back. And then when I bid adieu, my peeps came from Norway, Shoshone, and it was 1839. The Norwegian that sired me came into Idaho, Utah, and Wyoming, and Shoshone, and Scott. And that's my heritage. Bless you. I love you.
God bless you, R&R. We appreciate your phone call and your insight and your analysis. It is 6:27. Traffic and weather together. I still can't get Larry off my mind. We appreciate that, Jim. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Our time is 6:28. You know, yesterday I was on the Facebook, and by the way, we did reach out to Representative Patricia Giddings last night to come on the program, but she posted something on this. It was about Chairman Lurcher and Betsy Russell, who is a journalist with Spokesman Review. You can catch her on, the Idaho Reports, and she's the person who covers government now and has been doing so for years. But you have this headline under something that happened in the legislature yesterday, and really it's funny. If this is the best that the folks in the legislature can do when they're talking about the public disclosures of what people make, then I think this upcoming primary season is going to be very interesting. But the headline under this photo is you have Betsy Russell, who's interviewing Chairman Lurcher and some of the Democrats. Betsy Russell, a Berkeley journalism graduate, schemes with Chairman Lurcher about a failed piece of legislation requiring elected officials to disclose their spouse's employment and financial records. Only Democrats and Chairman Lurcher supported the idea. How will Betsy spin this one to attack conservatives? And that was from Representative Giddings, who's been under fire. She has attacked the legislature as well, not in a a bad way. She really came on the scene in the last legislative session. You remember when she was actually shooting YouTube videos almost in real time, or maybe it was Facebook, where she was critiquing the lack of folks in the legislature doing something. So you know how it is when you criticize your coworkers, you can be right. Maybe some of us have done that more than once. You can be right, but it's not going to win you any friends in the lunchroom. I thought this was compelling, so we did reach out to Representative Giddings. We didn't. She declined. She was meeting with someone this morning, but we'll seek to get her on. But here you have Chairman Lurcher wanting people to disclose this. And remember, Chairman Lurcher was not a fan of our friend Greg Pruitt and the ISSA when it came to the gun bill as well. So, you know, the proposals and stuff, he had his run-ins with our friend Greg Pruitt and others. But getting back to this, okay, so people, will be, you'll be able to disclose what lawmakers make in a conflict of interest. And maybe it's a good first step. We'd love to get your thoughts on that, although I think more people care about whether or not the place they go for their manicures and pedicures are sanitary than this. Idaho is only one of the 2 states where they don't, public officials don't have to disclose what their spouses make, what they make. It doesn't really matter because we have such good old girl, good old boy stuff in the state anyway. I mean, let's face it. In other places, this is part of the beauty and the challenges here. We had the prison fight club, the school broadband debacle. We had all these things going on, and really nobody went to jail for it. Heck, look at what happened with our friends in Nampa, the school district, where we had somebody just misappropriate or lose millions of dollars. Teachers, support workers, and others lost their jobs. Nobody went to prison for that. I don't even think anybody... how do you do that? So, getting back to this, and I think you're going to see this. You're going to see this from the more conservative folks in the legislature, and you have that select group of individuals that are not going to take it from the press. And now you have some of the press through social media, which, if it's on social media, isn't really true, fighting back. But back to the point here at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, you have Representative Giddings not holding back, kind of very Trumpian if you think about it, where she just basically says, look, Betsy's interviewing these folks. Let me repeat it one more time. Betsy Russell, a Berkeley journalism graduate, schemes with Chairman Lurcher about a failed piece of legislation requiring elected officials to disclose their spouse's employment and financial records. Only Democrats and Chairman Lurcher supported the idea. How will Betsy spin this to attack conservatives? In the old days, you would have people just taking it. Now you have a state representative on the attack. And then you have other people that are, taking issue with that because journalists believe that they cover the news. They get a little sensitive when, in fact, they are attacked. But, again, going back to this, let's see. Melissa Davlin, hello to Melissa's mother. Betsy Russell went to Berkeley. She's one of the best and smartest straight-shooting journalists I've ever known. But y'all already knew that. You agree with that statement? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning. And the fake news winners are Paul Krugman of the New York Times for saying that the economy, the markets would never recover from a President Trump election victory. CNN was named 4 separate times. One of them was for the whole koi fish debacle. The president was criticized for appearing to overfeed the koi fish, but it turns out that he was just following the Japanese prime minister's lead. Brian Ross of ABC was also listed for this now infamous false report.
He's prepared to testify that President Trump, as a candidate, Donald Trump, directed him to make contact with the Russians, which contradicts all that Donald Trump has said at this point.
All right, so that, of course, turned out not to be true. Time magazine also received an award for after a reporter claimed that President Trump removed a bust of Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. Sarah Huckabee Sanders corrected that by tweeting out a picture that shows that the bust is still there. Last but not least, the whole Russia collusion story.
Thank you, Ray Amaya. By the way, I believe that that message is R&R approved. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. A couple things going on. A lot of people have asked me about our State of the Union party, and that will be January 30th at Dave & Buster's, but give me a couple days to finalize it. Looks like that's going to happen. And we've got a couple other big events going on as we get ready for the political season. But again, I'll have more information. I want to thank Donna, who asked for tickets. No tickets available. What we'll do is, we'll probably just have you RSVP with me, and we'll have a great time celebrating the president. Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So, and not to get too lost in the minutia, because unless it's the repeal of the grocery tax, unless it's going to be a new governor or a new congressman, or I don't know how compelling it is to talk about school districts and redistricting and such. The political body in the Idaho legislature doesn't really move the needle much, at least I've found. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. It really, doesn't really move it. I mean, you can get lost in it. Again, I get so flummoxed sometimes. My wife Dorothy will go, and I'll go, but you just get so angry sometimes, especially with this gas tax that happened a few years ago and the grocery tax. Shouldn't that be item number one, repealing the grocery tax if they really wanted it repealed? And I was talking to Tea Party Bob last night, and he's going, look at the governor's budget. It's raising spending by almost 10%. On what? But regardless of that, going back to this story on Facebook where you have Representative Giddings saying, hey, what's Betsy going to do with Chairman Lurcher and this bill? So I had a chance to look at Betsy Russell's article here, and here you have it. The House State Affairs Committee killed legislation from its own chairman. Maybe that's not a good sign for Chairman Lurcher. By the way, David Ripley loves Chairman Lurcher. He's a good pro-life guy. Endorsed unanimously by a legislative interim committee to impose Idaho's first ever personal financial disclosure requirement for elected officials. Now, there's some angry state representatives in this. And people are talking about, it left some stuff out, but is that really an issue? And I believe, again, according to published reports, it's only, two states where you don't have to disclose what you or your spouse makes? Does that move your needle? Is that something that we need? Would you ever run for office? Sure, it sounds great when you're a kid, but think of all the stuff you have to go through. And shouldn't running for office be about public service? Shouldn't public office be about public service and serving the public? So you should be totally transparent. And if you don't want to disclose things, then you don't run for public office. So here you have Vito Barbieri, state representative, very conservative young man. Quote, I don't know why we should see this should see the light of day, angry. This is from Betsy Russell's piece. I just don't agree that Idaho public thinks that this body is full of dishonest individuals. I don't buy that. Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you believe that the legislature is full of dishonest individuals? Now, the great thing about this program is there's anonymity and there's a high dose of skepticism. Whether or not that's the ideal formula to wake up every morning and not have heartburn, I don't know. Representative Christy Zito of Hammett said, I feel that we're on the edge of a George Orwell book with the thought police here, asking people to disclose what they think down the road may be a conflict of interest. And remember, this all comes from Representative Giddings saying, there's Betsy Russell talking to Chairman Lurcher about this bill that got shot down. Again, the proposed bill would have required all candidates for elective office at the state, legislative, county, or city levels to file annual disclosures identifying their primary employer, occupation or job title. All entities they own or which they are an officer, each entity that has paid them $5,000 or more in income in the past year. Each entity in which they own stocks or bonds valued at more than $5,000 unless they're managed by a third party. So what are they running for president here? All but 2 states, Idaho and Michigan, require public officials to disclose their personal finances so citizens can judge whether officials they're acting on in the public interest or in their own private interest. I think we know the answer to that one. Let's go to State Representative Christy Zitto with us here at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin Miller. How are you today?
Well, I should have asked you to come on. Thank you for joining us.
Well, it's okay. I appreciate that. Kevin, there's just a couple of things I would like to address about this financial disclosure statement and the situation that happened yesterday. My comment was made before Representative Giddings made her comment about the press, and that's okay. But as I reviewed this proposal, one of the things it asked for, well, a couple of things that really bothered me, in addition to the idea, the statement that any other matter or interest you believe may constitute a conflict of interest. I really believe that we are seeing ourselves being mentally corralled more and more. We're afraid to be friendly with those that we associate in the business world, and sometimes even in public, private, in our private goings about. We're afraid that we're going to insult or offend someone. We have to sit and worry about what we may do in the future because it may hurt someone's feelings or offend them. And that's an affront to our liberty and our right of freedom of speech as well. So my concern that was one of my concerns. Another one of my concerns, Kevin, was that it asked for information not only about your spouse, but about any relative living in your home. It wanted information about them. It also wanted information about those who are not related to you that may be living in your home. Now, here a few years ago, as I said in committee, I had to get legal custody of my aunt, one of my dad's older sisters. She had dementia. Her estate was set up very, very well, except that in her estate, she did not mention mental health in her documents for her trustee to take care of everything. Well, let's say, for example, that she had to come and live with me so that I could take care of her. Well, her estate had absolutely nothing to do with me. I received absolutely nothing from it, but it was sizable enough that she got a decent income from it every month. Well, that would be reportable, the way we understood the questions on this form. Now, that would now become a matter of public record, more so than it normally would be. And we already have a problem in the state of Idaho with fraud and abuse against our elderly. And I just couldn't see how that would benefit anyone. I couldn't see how that would make it so that people maybe who don't have the finances and stuff would choose to run because they would not want to expose people that they cared about to that kind of scrutiny. Now, Kevin, to me, it's more important what a person might leave office with. And there was no accountability in this bill. I've got legislation that I'm working on right now I worked on it this summer with Ryan Bush, and we're tweaking a few things in it now that would have some accountability. This bill just said disclose. It just said tell us everything, make it known. But what we need if we're going to do stuff like this is there has to be a way to make it accountable. It's not enough to just say. So, I'm working on that, and I know there are some others that are coming down as well. Our business interests and stuff like that, they're already available because if you're on a board or if you own a corporation or something like that, you already file with the Secretary of State. So that's already a matter of public record.
Well, what do you make of the whole the coverage of it? Because that's how I jumped onto it. Representative Christy Zitto with us here, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, where you have your colleague, Representative Giddings, saying, on Facebook, and look, to her credit, not backing down. There's Betsy, talking to Chairman Lurcher about his bill. How will she spin this to make the Republicans look bad? Your reaction to that?
Well, Kevin, I don't even know what to say. There's good press and there's bad press, and we all know it. And I admire Representative Giddings for standing her ground. I think it's time that happens. I do know that when we're at the State House, there are certain places where if we want to know what's happening, we can actually go to those blogs or whatever and find out what's on the mind of leadership before we'll hear about it. And, I assume I don't assume, but it is the job of the press to let the people know what happens and what goes on. My only request to the press, and I apologize, I've been sick, so if
you sound
really
great.
bad,
Look, it's just you and me. No worries. Seriously.
So anyway, my only request would be to get it right. And I grew up believing, and I took a journalism class or two here and there in high school and stuff like that, and we were always taught that it was the job of the press to report the news, to report the facts. It's not their job to spin it. I sometimes get frustrated when I listen to national news and different things. I want to know the facts. I want to know what happened. I don't want you to tell me how I should feel about it, what I should think about it, and I get really, really tired of listening to all of these people's opinions. Not that I don't agree with it, or maybe I do, maybe I don't, I don't know. The point is I believe the American people in the world in general, they're intelligent. They are reasoning beings. And all I need are the facts. I want the information. I want to know what happened. I don't need you to tell me, not you specifically, Kevin, don't take that personally, but I don't need a press agent to tell me how I should feel or what I should think about a given issue.
I'm with you. Finally, what do you make of, and we didn't know the extent of this bill, but we've got about a minute left, of leaving the school officials out. What'd you make of that? I mean, I didn't know how hard and in-depth this was. It's, kind of like a root canal for politicians and public servants, but, it did leave off people involved with the schools.
Well, it did, Kevin, and my position on it is this. Disclosure's fine, but let's do it right. Let's do it well. Let's do it right. Let's make it so that there's some accountability in it, and then we'll have something we can work with. But this just didn't do that. This just didn't. It didn't. There's no accountability in it. The information that it asked for is already available. My other concern was just that good people who appreciate and want their privacy might choose to not run because of something like this. And if, let's get the issue right. Let's present it well. Let's make the issue good. Let's put in the accountability. And this bill just wasn't it.
Well, we appreciate you listening this morning. Thank you.
Oh, Kevin, I appreciate you. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for being there every morning. And you just have an absolutely beautiful day.
You too, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. There we have it. Representative Zito joining us here this morning. Your reaction next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And thank you, our great friend in Wisconsin, letting us know that there were HIPAA violations in that legislation as well. Let's go to Ray in Caldwell with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Kevin. First, I want to thank you for being such a strong conservative voice and a voice for the life issues here in our Treasure Valley. I just wanted to mention that this coming Saturday is the March for Life here for to defend life, and it's going to be held at Julia Davis Park at 1 p.m. This Saturday, January 20th, and we march from there from the Julia Davis Bandshell, down to the Capitol steps, and there's going to be a wonderful speaker there. Her name is Rebecca Buell. She's going to be speaking about the abortion reversal pill, where she was a college student at 19 years old, and she became pregnant with her second child, and she didn't know whether she could afford keeping the child, so she went to Planned Parenthood and got the RU486 abortion pill. And as soon as she took the pill, she just immediately was convicted about it. And she told Planned Parenthood, and they told her there's no way she could reverse it. Well, she found out different, and she had it reversed, took the reversal pill, and she had a beautiful, healthy baby boy. And she speaks out for life issues and like that. So I just wanted to mention that. And thank you again for being a voice for life here in the Valley here. And I just hope folks can come down to the march and participate in that and get some information of how to deal with the legislature here, both statewide and nationally, and be a voice for life.